Hello, good evening, and welcome to day 17 of the Do Over January. The woman called you Do Over January. First things first, for those of you who are wondering what the woman called you, it's just a platform, of women who are committed to inspiring change through personal growth. Like I always say, and I've reiterated over and over again, you can't give what you don't have. You can't give what you don't have. So, I mean, what we just do is whenever we meet for programs such as this, whether it's online or offline, we try as much as possible to be the best that we can and just nitpick on those things that, impact our daily living. So for the past 17 days or 16 days, because it's the 17th day, I've been examining 31 days to declutter and deconstruct the mind to gain clarity. And when we talk about decluttering the mind, deconstructing the mind, there is an assumption that the mind is loaded with negative things that have counterproductive effects to our mental health. And like I said, I'm not making light the fact of the existence of mental illness, but for this purpose, I'm just talking about where all your parameters are right and you're just encountering stress. You are overwhelmed, and you just need a break. So it's basically what this 31 days is all about, whereby you're able to dump all those things. I've spoken about a lot of techniques that can help in the past for the past 16 days, and you're able to focus on, having just having this kind of, I love to call it Zen moments where you are ever present. You are present. Your thoughts are not wandering. You're able to put your best foot forward. You're able to give your best in any situation you find yourself. So today we're talking about how do I know if I am mentally strong? Yesterday I discussed how do I know if I'm mentally weak? And like I said, mental strength is not about being tough. So many people mistake mental strength to mean, oh, she's a tough woman and all that. No. And it's just like when you talk about physical strength. Physical strength usually is just limited to, oh, you have strong muscles, you can lift objects and all that. But when we're talking about mental strength, we're talking about your ability to for perseverance, your ability to be positive through the tough times. I think it was Billy Ocean that sang this song tough when the times get tough, the tough gets going. Yes. So where the test of your true mental strength is not when everything is hunky dory, when everything is easy peasy. Oh, when you're enjoying life. No, that's not when the true test of mental strength comes up. Usually, it's put to the test when you're going through trying times. When you're going through moments that you can't understand why it's happening this way, but you have to live through the moment. Remember, I reminded us I think in one of the episodes, I think it was sometime last week, that life happens. Life happens. When I was talking about battles, I said, look, I reminded us also that life isn't fair, you know. So when we're talking about mental strength, we're talking about your ability to persevere, your ability to go through, and how you can handle situations. So, like I said yesterday, everything I said, I told you to just imagine you are like staring at a questionnaire and then checking off the boxes. So I urge you to do the same thing today so you can gauge whether you're actually as strong mentally as you think. The first thing, you know, to gauge whether you're mentally strong, the question you need to ask yourself, are you emotionally intelligent? If you're emotionally intelligent, then you have a degree of mental strength. And you know, when I'm talking about emotional intelligence, I'm not saying this kind of intelligence that you measure by intelligence quotient. No, it's your EQ. You need to know whether are you able to turn a negative situation into a positive. Are you able to see a positive even in a negative? You know, remember when I was talking about battles the other day, and I was talking about the win-win battle, where you do your utmost to ensure that you win a battle, no matter how bad it is. Look for the good in it. So you see, an emotionally intelligent person, you handle your emotions constructively. If you're that kind of an individual, I tell you, you can be very, very sure that emotionally, you're mentally strong. You have mental strength. Because I tell you, your EQ, when I have this very good friend, Lebari, she's an EQ, exponent. She when she handles EQ here, look, you wonder where she's been all your life. So your EQ, I remember when she spoke to us about it, she said it's a fluid number. It's not like IQ that is static. So where your EQ is high, mental strength. I remember when she was taking us through this thing, because we did sometime during the pandemic, we had this Power Her series. That's a woman called you. And Lebari Opong was one of the facilitators when she took us on emotional intelligence. The video is somewhere on the Woman Called You page, and it's also, I think, somewhere on YouTube. Yes. So if you're emotionally intelligent, you can be sure you have mental strength. And see, when I'm talking about emotional intelligence, I'm not saying it makes you strong automatically. No, it just means you know how to process things, and it will help you when you have to make decisions, when you are put on the spot. And that will lead to the next thing. Most times when you're emotionally intelligent, what happens to you is you are confident. And when we're talking about confidence, when I'm talking about confidence, I'm not talking about being cocky. Far from it. I'm not talking about being cocky. When you are confident, you understand that being confident is the only way you can live life. Being able to stand up, focusing on all the qualities that make you a good person. You know, and the thing about being confident is the fact that you don't need people really, and that's where the emotional intelligence come into. You don't need people to tell you you're special, probably because of how you've been brought up, how you've been made to believe. It's just like saying Prince Charles or Prince Williams needs somebody to tell them their royalty. They know. So, they don't need to force it. So that's the thing. If you are truly confident and not cocky, most times cocky people, they don't have anything inside. They say empty vessels make the most noise. If you're a confident person, then you can be sure you have mental strength, because that's an indicator. Another indicator of people that have mental strength, in fact, toxic people, they wash off you like how water washes off the back of a chicken. You don't let toxic people bother you. Because one thing I always say, and I know for a fact, is you can't avoid toxic people. They will always be there. In your place of work, your business, your faith groups, wherever, you will always encounter toxic people. But you know the good thing about being, somebody who is mentally strong, the fact that, my dear sister, gorgeous woman, you can neutralize them. I'm not saying by doing anything harmful to them. Oh. No, 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 no. But you know how to neutralize their negativity. You don't let them bring you down. It's like somebody saying to you, what kind of nonsense dress you're wearing like this? Somebody who doesn't have mental strength will start sulking. Somebody who has mental strength will say, don't worry, I like it like that. Yeah, that I actually decided that's what I wanted, you know? And when you are like this, when you don't let toxic people affect you, the next thing is you will see that you can detect somebody who is angry. You can detect frustration. You will know somebody who is just talking to you out of frustration. And you will not let their toxicity hinder whatever it is you bring to the table. Yesterday I talked about mental weakness. Mental weakness is the other side. A mentally weak person, toxic people just flood them. They flood them. They are totally helpless in the face of toxicity. Another thing that is an indicator that you have mental strength is the fact that you're not afraid of change. Honestly, it's like for you, you're so flexible that you just say, look, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. So you see, when you can confidently, face anything that comes your way. I tell you, it is a quality of your mental strength. And I urge you to guard it jealously. Because whether we like it or not, one thing that is certain about the life we live is change. And if we don't embrace change, the kind of change that life throws at us on a daily basis, you'll not be able to appreciate your life as you should. So if you're somebody who change is like nothing to you, then you're mentally strong. I applaud you today. In fact, as that guy will say, Igwe Tupac, I love referring to him a lot. He will say you deserve your accolades. But remember, even in receiving your accolades, you're not cocky. Another thing that mentally strong people do is this. Huh. This one I had to learn it because I didn't know until a couple of years ago that I was very weak in this area. Mentally strong people can say no. They don't always have to say yes. And when they say no, their no is a perfectly healthy no. I'm telling you, that kind of thing that you say no, you're not feeling stressed that you said no. Not when you say no and you're afraid, will they like me? Will they not like me? Remember what you said yesterday about mentally weak people? Constantly overreaching and committing because they're afraid to like them. And they also want people to like them, validate them. But if you're a mentally strong person, you can actually say no. You will say no confidently and know that your no is a perfectly healthy no. And not just no for the sake of saying no. The kind of no we say to our children sometimes. We just say no. So another thing that a mentally strong person will do, another thing that's an indicator, mentally strong people, to them, a degree of fear is, is a catalyst. A degree of fear is a catalyst. But you know what? They don't embrace fear. Remember, I said yesterday that the mentally weak person, once fear comes, the mentally strong person will not allow that fear stop them. They will push through. They will say, no, 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 this fear, you're not going to stop me. Because guess what? If you don't try something new, it leads to regret. And you cannot find a mentally strong person shying away from trying something new, you know? Because one thing, when I said, talked about mentally weak people yesterday, for them, failure is not an option. So they are scared to venture because they already have, you know, concluded that they will fail. But when you are mentally strong, you will walk past that fear. You will embrace new experiences. You see a mentally strong person is the kind of person that will go bungee jumping, go to Lekki Conservation Center and climb that hanging walkway. I mean, for me, the only reason I won't climb it is because I have vertigo. I have a fear for heights. It doesn't mean I'm not adventurous because I can go to eh, eh, go down rapids, go to waterfalls and all of that. But when it comes to that kind of canopy walk, forget it. And another thing, if that is an indicator that you are mentally strong, I'm telling you, you're not afraid of failure. Remember, I talked about the inventors a couple of days ago when I said if they tried it 99 times and it worked the 100th time, you know, instead of seeing it as, oh, I failed 99 times and I only passed one time, they'll say something like, I've discovered 99 ways with. So when you're talking about being mentally strong, that is where the place of seeing the cup either half full or half empty. When you see the cup half empty, you're somebody who is embracing it, who is afraid to embrace failure. So you are rather taking the path of least resistance. But when you see it half full, you're ready to do all that you can to ensure that despite the fact it's half full, I will do my best. I will try and try and try again. When you're mentally strong, you understand that the fact that you made a mistake doesn't mean you should quit. The fact that you made a mistake simply means that look, I will try again. Maybe I will get it the next time. And the thing is, because most of us, have believed, sadly, believed what the world has thrown at us. We allow ourselves to be torn down when we just have that little bump in the road. I'm saying to a woman today, if you've checked this box, you've ticked it, and you know that you're somebody who embraces failure and like, well, I will try again. I think you deserve a pat on the back because now you understand that you are mentally strong. Some people will say, this person is foolish. She's always doing the same thing or doing, going into business ventures, doing this, doing that. It doesn't make you a weak person. The only time you are mentally weak is if you are doing the same thing and expecting a different result. But if you have done that thing and you failed, you can be sure that a mentally strong person will examine and explore other avenues and options that will give her the best results. Another thing that's an indicator that you're a mentally strong person, you don't gain anything by tearing others down, so you won't tear others down. I mean, there's no place for jealousy in your vocabulary. If you're mentally strong, you're mentally tough. It's not rocket science now. You're happy for anybody's achievement. You're happy. They didn't take anything from you. But when you're mentally weak, I talked about that yesterday. I don't want to go back to it. So I tell you, when you're mentally strong, you don't judge people based on appearance. I said it the other day that one thing that has held me in good stead, especially in interpersonal relationships with people, is that when I go into a relationship with somebody, I don't go with preconceived notions. I don't go with yeah, sure, you can give me your own opinion about somebody, but it will not in any way, influence my own opinion about that person. Except you have empirical evidence that the person is a thief or the person is this. But if you don't have those solid facts, and then when you tell me it's not to dissuade me from entering into the relationship, it's only like, okay, fine. So I'll watch out. But still, I would not form my opinion about that person. So if you're a mentally strong person, you don't envy. There's no need for envy. You have a positive outlook. I'm telling you. I mean, It's not for us to just, it's not, it doesn't have to be a cliche where people say, um, it doesn't matter how the economy is. I will not do this. I will not do that. Yes, they might sound like cliches, but the mentally strong person actually believes what he or she is saying. I'm telling you, they understand that. See, if I don't like something about my life, I have to change it instead of bemoaning. No, I was talking about the mentally weak person yesterday. You bemoan the situation. Somebody tries to, chip in and help you with a little bit of counsel, and you say, no, you don't understand it, you don't understand me, and all of that. But if you are mentally strong, know that this indicator that I've mentioned of not envying people, having a positive outlook to life and all of, will stand you in good stead. I advise you, continue, my dear sister, to focus on the good things instead of the negative things. I remember even in the Bible tells us that, look, leave the wheat and the tear. During harvest, they will be separated. And the tears in this case are things that are totally outside of your control. Identify them. Don't keep dwelling. That's why you see people that have mental strength, this positive outlook just stands them in good stead because they will not dwell on the negative. It's that, and they move on. So one thing I want us to understand is the fact that you must always remember, and this is very important. I remember a couple of years ago, I was at a retreat, and they showed us this video about a woman that was talking about grit. I can't forget it at all. When she talked about grit being very resilient and having a fighting spirit, irrespective of how big the odds against you are. And I tell you, if you have determination and you have grit, you will understand that it's not when, let me explain this way, it's not when people say you are tough. Tough is external. She looks tough, she looks tough. The kind of true strength we're talking about, those two things, determination and grit, that no matter what I go through, no matter what faces me, I will go through it. And that is why, the spiritual self-care is important. I talked about it a couple of weeks ago, because you must have some, a great level of spiritual backing, which will give you the fortitude. That's why mentally strong people, they have faith. It's not just jumping and lifting holy hands and praising and worshiping. No. The prerequisite faith that will move mountain is something that mentally strong people have. And one thing I always like to tell people that you see, psychological and emotional strength, is an inner quality that, truth be told, money cannot buy it. That's why you see some very rich people, when there's an issue, and when I'm talking about an issue, I'm not talking about monetary issues. That kind of thing can put strain on even the best of us. But even then, a mentally strong person would have a different outlook. But I'm talking about that thing, that kind of strength that will make you so determined that you will pursue your goals. I'm telling you, you will be ready to overcome challenges. No matter what the challenges are, you are ready to stay focused on your goals, no matter how long it seems it's taking to come to pass. You are there. And it comes from the ability from within. And it comes from your ability to want to build your character. So that is why I said that one is innate. I'm telling you. And it has in your faith. In your faith. Like I said yesterday, the mentally weak person will give his strength to someone else. But the mentally strong person believes in himself. I'm not talking about calling yourself a self-made man. No. That one is being cocky. Because even when you believe in yourself, remember, I've always said it from the first day. there is a higher power. There's a component of the higher power because we walk by faith. But you see, with that faith, when you begin to trust yourself, I listened to the lead consultant of NYF today, NYF Consulting, Neka Faloye, and she was saying she was talking about growth. And I was so interested in what she was saying because it just resonated with what all this 31 days is all about. And she said, when you stop growing, it is death. And a couple of days ago, I said, when you stop moving, you are dead. And you see, when you have mental strength and you trust yourself, you know what your ability is, you know what you're capable of doing, you begin to live, you begin to flourish. You will see with the right mental strength. If you have this thing, I'm telling you, then you have that mental strength. If you have mental strength, you will know the value. If you're somebody who lives and has core values you live by, you have mental strength. And I'm talking about positive mental strength because people have mental strength in the negative way too. But I'm talking about positive mental strength, whereby you're not just acting tough, acting tough, acting tough. You are acting on your values. So if you're somebody who acts on your values and you don't just act, impulsively, and that's what I said yesterday when I was talking about mental weakness. You're not self-indulgent. You don't feed your impulses. Then you are mentally strong. And don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean you ignore your emotions. No. It doesn't mean you ignore your weaknesses because we all have weaknesses. No. But guess what? The mentally strong person understands their emotions, understands how it works, and knows their weaknesses and chooses to begin to work on it. If you're a mentally strong person, you don't have a problem with somebody pointing out your lapses to you. I'm telling you. As a mentally strong person, you are aware of your thoughts, your behaviors, everything you do, you are aware of it. So if you're somebody that takes responsibility for your actions, you are mentally strong. You refuse to allow yourself to be victim of circumstances you find yourself. You are mentally strong. And that is the truth. That is the truth. Because one thing that most of us do is that we feel being mentally strong means you're not compassionate. No. Another indicator of mental strength. You're a very compassionate person. Please, I need to cut this thing. Thank you. Another indicator of mental strength. You are kind. You are compassionate. And when I say kind, you are showing kindness to people. And I hope you know that showing kindness to people takes a lot of confidence. I'm telling you, and courage. And I mean, the kind of kindness I'm talking about? Somebody has wronged you. I'm telling you. And yet you can be kind. It takes a lot of courage. And when you can still be kind to somebody who has wronged you, then you have mental strength. I'm telling you. You have mental strength. And in all of this, I still would say it has its root in your faith. Somebody whose faith is grounded. All those things that the Bible lists out as the fruit of the Spirit, you will begin to exhibit them. That's mental strength. Yesterday, I was talking about mental weakness. When I said, see, addiction, I knew there was something in my life. I was very weak mentally because I couldn't control my impulses. But you see, when you have mental strength, and let me say you're a Christian, you begin to live, ensuring that the fruit of the Spirit is manifested. Not hear me, I said fruit, right? Because everything makes up the fruit, the components that make up the fruit. So you are able to understand that you need all of these things to function. That is an evidence of mental strength. You understand? It's an evidence of mental strength. And I'm having this thing. Not to worry. I hope it's not. Can you? I hope you can see me because it's like it's beginning to. I hope you can see me. Okay, I see myself. I had to piggyback to Facebook to ensure I was still on. I don't know what's happening here. Okay, so you see, like I said, when you've been able to check some of these boxes about the things I've said, sorry I didn't put the banners as I usually do because I would have to be typing in as I talk and it would be somehow obtrusive. So please, you can always go back and revisit. So one thing, if you're somebody who is mentally strong, remember we're still talking about decluttering the mind. If you've been able to check off these boxes, as I was saying, at times you're overwhelmed, overworked, you see you're overcommitting. As a mentally strong person, there's nothing down. I remember years ago, there's this lady, Tina Kwashivuko. I don't know if she's still around. I think she's working in one of these big banks. She brought out this way back before these motivational speakers. I'm talking about the late 80s. Yes. There's this thing she taught, the 3 hours. She said, retreats, renew, and reemerge. I don't know if she got it from somewhere, but I got those things then. I think I was in my final year in uni. A mentally strong person is not afraid to slow down and retreat. They don't, it doesn't matter what is going on around me. It doesn't matter how I am needed. It doesn't matter whatever is happening. I know the importance of self-care. That is a major indicator of somebody who is mentally strong. And talking about self-care, remember I took us on the different components of self-care. That was the whole of last week. Yes. And a bit of the week before, because I think there were like 7 episodes. So go back and check. If you're faltering in any of those aspects of self-care, you might need to revisit some of those things. Because I tell you, a mentally strong person knows the importance of self-care and is not afraid to say, I will retreat, I will renew, and I will re-emerge if it's time. So if you're somebody who it is nothing for you to shut down, it's nothing for you to shut down, then you are mentally strong. Another indicator that you're mentally strong, you see, we must learn something. We must understand that because somebody is having a bad day, I'm not going to take responsibility for your bad day. Your bad day is not a reflection of who I am. And that's how the mentally strong person rolls. The fact that your spouse is having a bad day and you don't make it about you, then you're mentally strong. The mentally weak spouse say, this one is not talking. Look, in the early days of marriage, this woman was like that. When there's a frown on his face, I'll think I'm responsible for that frown on his face. So if you're out there and that is happening, you are mentally weak. But if you know and you understand that this person perhaps is going through a bad day, it is not my fault. You understand that whatever it is they are dealing with is not a reflection of who I am. You are mentally strong. And when you think like this, when the mentally strong person thinks like this, you see that it won't be easy to get entangled in all kinds of things. But the mentally weak person is entangled, is encumbered. So if you're somebody, you're not easily encumbered, you're not easily entangled, then congratulations, you're a mentally strong person. If you're somebody who knows that balance is key to this life, clap for yourself. You are mentally strong. So many of us that might think we're mentally strong, we're still hobbling between knowing how to balance every life role that has been given to us. I mean, Some of us are struggling with weight issues. That's weakness in itself. Some of us will say, I need only 3 hours sleep a night. Hey, mental issues are knocking at the door. So a mentally strong person understands the importance of balance. Balance. And that is the key. The mentally healthy person, mentally strong person is not, you know, all over the place. They know when to have fun. They know when to step back. They know when to, everything is done in moderation. And why? Because they have control. They are emotionally intelligent. If you can check that box, good. Go ahead and check it. Another thing we need to learn about the mentally strong, so you will know whether you are mentally strong or not. Somebody who is mentally strong, oh, is somebody who understands gratitude. Somebody who appreciates everything in front of them. Remember when I was talking about the mentally weak yesterday? Entitlement mentality. The world owes me. And you know what? As a mentally strong person, when you are appreciating everything in front of you, you don't dwell on the past. Remember yesterday I talked about Okafor's law. For the mentally weak woman who has built an altar to her past. So you see, if you're somebody who concentrates on here and now, I remember that song from my uni days. Forgot who sang that song. It goes something like here and now I promise to love faithfully. Don't laugh at me. The mentally strong person concentrates on the here and now. Remember, I said it in the beginning. All of this 31 days, is to begin to live life present, not in the present, to live life present. If your body is here, your spirit, your soul, your thoughts, everything is here. Not like what they say in church, buying and selling, buying and spirit of buying and selling, spirit of this thing. So you see, when you are mentally strong, you concentrate on the here and now. Remember, the Bible even said it, sufficient is the wahala of today without thinking of the one of tomorrow. So you see, and the thing about all of this is that if you can live in the present, they call it smelling the coffee. They say don't sweat the small stuff. Life becomes better. Life becomes more bearable, and stuff like that. And I dare say you would kind of begin to live your own brand of happy. Yes, you live your brand, your brand of happy. And I one thing I understand about my brand of happy. That's I'm talking personally now as Nene. I just need to just quickly inject this here. I always say it. Um, my happy. So what the world thinks is happy. I have my own understanding of happy. For me, happy is the joy of the Lord is my strength. You know, happy is unspeakable joy I get from God. So it doesn't matter whatever is happening. I'm able to balance between logical thinking and emotional thinking. And that's the truth. Because somebody will say, I need to get 100% of this to be happy. But I know that nobody gets 100%. You see, that's where mental strength comes in. You know, I do my best to maintain myself between logical and emotional thinking. I I don't I don't live in la la land. And that's one thing a mentally strong person does. A mentally strong person does not live in the realms of fantasy. The mentally strong person is rooted in reality. So that is it for me. I am able to define what joy means to me. You know, I don't believe or feel that I'm perfect, but I just know that I'm living the life I can live based on my truth. And that is what every mentally strong person, one of the things, not everything, because like I said, everything is situational. So for me, that is it. So when you see me happy, it doesn't mean that I have $1 million in my account. No, it's because I've learned to live a life of contentment. That's mental strength. Mental strength comes from determining your own truth, defining your own truth. That's why they will tell you, as soon as you go somewhere, see people living in a hut, but they are laughing, they are joking, because that is their understanding of joy. They don't allow their lives to be defined by things and stuff, you know. And when you are like that, you'll see one of the reasons that you'll be strong is because you don't let other people determine your self-worth. And that is, if you have that as an indicator, then you are mentally strong. You can wear anything and walk into a place. For instance, let me just say, women, there's a wedding, you can't afford their shwebi, you still go, but some people will not go. That's weakness, because already they have a mental note of what everybody would have to say, and that's weakness, you know. And even some people may have the money, but they don't believe in ashwebi and all of that. That's okay. That's their own way of thinking. That's their own way of creating balance. That's strength in itself. That's strength in itself. So I tell you, when you're a woman in this today's world with all of its pressure, you know, you must do your utmost to become mentally strong, because all the influences, it's worse now because there's social media. Before, we had was just magazines and telly, then cable came on, and now we have social media. We know, of course, that there's this smoke screen, what's social media, reality, and reality as we know it. But how many people care? How many people care? So you must, if you've been able to check some of these boxes, you must protect by any means necessary your mental space. And I'm sure if you've checked all of these boxes, if I ask you now, are you a people pleaser? You will say definitely not. That's a sign of mental strength. I'm telling you. Sometimes, because you're not a people's pleaser, you may seem to be like I have a friend, he's a guy I do, but for years I've always called him an agent provocateur, because he likes to provoke the norm. So yes, sometimes as a mentally strong woman, do you break rules? Not flagrant disregard of rules and authority, no. But you break fashion rules. They say everybody must have a certain kind of look, and you're different. Yeah, you're natural with your natural hair, with your dread, with your anything. You walk into a place. It takes mental strength to be avant-garde in these days we live in. It takes mental strength. You understand? So I know so many of us, we want to be bosses, we want to be our own people, but if we do not develop mental strength, we run the risk of getting into trouble, and we can't afford that. So in rounding up, like I said when I started, I will let us know what mental strength is not. Mental strength, my sisters, this is a reminder. It's not about acting tough. It's not about acting tough. It's about acting according to your values. Mental strength. It's not about suppressing your thoughts. Yes, because you're emotionally intelligent and all that. No. It's about positively interpreting your feelings to the next person. Let your feelings influence your thoughts, my sister. Don't be somebody whose mind is all over the place. Mental strength is not ignoring your pain. No, it's understanding your pain. Mental strength is admitting, my sister, that you're not perfect. I just said it a few moments ago about myself. No, you're not perfect. A mentally strong woman is not ashamed to ask for help. It doesn't take anything from you. Please. One other thing, people should make the mistake. I remember there was this program I went for, and somebody was asking about happiness. And like I just said a few minutes ago, mental strength is not chasing happiness, it's chasing reality. I'm telling you, making the right decisions to help you reach your potential. It's not about chasing happiness. I'm telling you. Mental health is not about singing because I'm happy. No, 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 no. It's about being realistic. Begin to think rationally. When I talk about this thing, it makes me emotional, but this is the teaching series, so I will do my utmost not to be emotional. Because you see, one thing that most of us do is when we are dealing with things like anxiety, dealing with mental issues and all of that, we think it means you cannot be mentally strong. No, I've seen people dealing with mental health issues, yet they are mentally strong while they are dealing with it. That's why I said to us, we're distinguishing it from mental illness. So please, it is easy to feel mentally strong when everything is going well. But the real test, like I said, comes when things get hard. When things get hard. I don't know who will watch this or who is watching it. But one thing I want you to understand is that when you are mentally strong, you must commit to displacing certain things from your mind, from your life. And if you can just do it one day at a time, my sister, make the right choices, is all I'm saying. Remember that you can't control everything. And above all else, if you are that mentally strong person, continue each day to commit to living in the present. And whether we like it or not, life will happen, you know. But when it does happen, it won't consume us. And that's my heartfelt prayer. So tomorrow, I'll be back with day 18, and it's going to be, how do I become mentally strong? Because, like I said to us yesterday, nobody, fully ticks off all the boxes. You can actually be experiencing mental strength in one area, mental weakness in another. But one thing is certain, per time, for when you need it, just build up the skills that when it time for its use comes up, you can begin to draw strength from what you have kept and put in your store, in that piggy bank of yours, that colo of skills that can help you get the clarity of mind you so desire. So till tomorrow, God bless you. I hope you enjoyed every little bit. At least you're able to check off a box. God bless you. See you tomorrow.